are my son's kindergarten classmates, workmates. I feel fairly confident almost every part of my life is represented here. And in fact, about an hour ago, I got a call from a friend of mine, Ricky Boyne, who I've been friends with since kindergarten. So really, we've got the full suite. Got to thank DvA Gallery. This is so cool for them to host. I want to thank all the other readers and musicians. I mean, this is very, very cool. I'm a little embarrassed. I feel like I'm going to be dragging the bar down a little bit. I also really can't thank Jason enough. You know, he told that story, but I have to admit, when the book was coming together and I started shopping it around, I thought it would be really fun, like I had done with my first book, and that publisher didn't want to do any more novels. I thought it'd be fun to work again with someone who really loves writers and loves writing. They don't have to love me, though that's great. And I thought of Jason, you know, and emailed him like in the middle of the night, because we email between midnight and 2 when the kids are asleep, and the wives, I'm assuming the wives are asleep. And anyway, this came together. We went to a Bulls game and we ate some nachos, and afterward we showed up in the parking lot, and here we are 4 months later. So I really can't tell you how humbled I am by that and people coming out. And, you know, the other day someone asked me to sort of guest blog on their blog about the new book. And I thought, man, it's so much fun talking about myself, but I'm happy to do it. But I thought, you know, I have met more cool people during the last year. And, you know, my wife, Debbie, I really have to thank for all of her support and Great Lakes. But I thought, you know, I had told her I thought it would be fun to meet writers, other writers and artists. I was ready to get that started. And this last year has really been a gift. You know, Jason's one of many. Nick read, and you know, we met Mark Otherworld. Oh, God, you know, that was like at a kindergarten function. So I really feel kind of humbled by the whole thing. You know, when I was a kid, my dad was a painter, and we spent a lot of nights like this sitting in the back of galleries watching people drink wine and beer. And you know, I'm feeling a little bit like him today, so that's kind of bizarre to me. But I think he'd be quite thrilled about this. So. This is the new book, Most Likely You Go Your Way, I'll Go Mine. That is stolen from a Bob Dylan song. He has not called us yet about the rights to that, which I think is awesome. I really appreciate it. And, you know, my intent with this, which is a very small idea, was just to try to capture a relationship where a couple could come together really fast and implode just as quickly. And then what would it look like as they sort of tried to pull things back together. And I was also really interested in trying to create some relationships where people seem fairly hyper-articulate, but it's really just a cover for their inability to express their feelings. You know, in the first book I wrote, oh wow, that sounds really grandiose. In my first book. But in Lucky Man, I very purposely wanted to create a bunch of guys who were fairly inarticulate. It was much easier for them to take drugs and try to have sex with people, which again are things I love, but I thought I'd try something a little different this time. So I'm going to read a couple of passages. I don't want to bore you all. I'm going to read a couple of passages. One is really sort of how this couple meets, and then I thought I'd capture a little bit of their first date, and I thought I would capture, which doesn't give anything away, I can say that, but sort of what it looks like as they start to fall apart. Anyway, thank you all very much. So, what I thought I would do is just start the book dropping you in the middle of a conversation, no backstory. I love the idea of trying to write a book without any backstory. And I love the idea of just trying to, you have to figure things out. People will tell you everything you need to know along the way, but I wasn't going to spend pages and pages saying, and then their mom left, and then their dad had an affair, and that sucked. So that just comes up along the way. Third date, right, Paul says, passing the joint to Jeff? I think so, Jeff says, taking hit. It's the unacknowledged sex swing date. If she's into you, it'll be that date, because she wants you to stick around. But why is it the third date again? First date, she's getting to know you, and she's into you. She doesn't want to appear too into you, though, because that might scare you off. So she can't sleep with you that night. Plus, she may honestly be on the fence about your personality, but just intrigued enough to want to know more. She can't have sex under those conditions. It confuses things. Right. And what if she isn't into you? Well, you might hook up anyway, but that's doubtful. It's okay, though, because the first date should only be for drinks or coffee. If it goes well, you can always decide what to do next. But if it doesn't, you pay your bill, you smile, and you leave. No harm, no foul. I always like to do a nice dinner on the first date. That, by the way, is from my friend Matt Feldman, who once told me that. And that's cool, Jeff says, smoking some more. It's just not necessary. Good enough. And the second date? Oral. Me or her, Paul asked, motioning for the joint. Definitely her. She wants things to progress, Jeff says. She has to keep you interested. As for you, if she lets you, go for it. Very like talking, though. We don't have to talk. That works. So they walk, and they pass by the businessmen heading home, and the young couples heading for drinks, the street vendors selling hats and bootlegs, and the street musicians entertaining the masses, the old women walking their dogs, the bridge and tunnel kids looking to score, the garbage men finishing their shifts, and the waitresses hurrying to start theirs, the cops walking their beats, the newspaper guys dropping off the late editions, the skaters and the punks, the caricature guys, the new parents pushing their strollers, the lovers heading to illicit assignations they might just regret in the morning, the people exuberantly leaving their first day on the job, and the lifers who can't wait until their day on the job will end, the immigrants seeking a new life, the kids from the Midwest and upstate and the West Coast who come to New York to make it big, the out-of-work actors, the authors and comedians, the actuaries and firemen, the people from the Bronx, Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens, the squatters, the suits and towns for meetings, the posers, the hipsters, the freaks, the losers, the hopeful, the lost, the found, the angry, the radical, the ugly, the beautiful, the travelers, the poets, and the scared. And they drift by the bodegas, clothing shops, drugstores, diners, strip joints, dance clubs, movie theaters, newspaper stands, steak joints, bookstores, delicatessens, brownstones, schools, pizza parlors, bars, subway shops, porn shops, galleries, abandoned homes, record stores, and high-rise apartment buildings, going from early evening to night, from sad to happy to sad again. And as they become fatigued, find a second wind, buy pretzels and dodge dogs, rats, cockroaches, horses, and the random cat. As worlds collide, stars are born and implode, revolutions are fomented, the Milky Way expands, new languages are born, animals become extinct, intelligent life from other galaxies hone in ever closer to the Earth, polar caps melt, children are conceived, ancient civilizations pass in nothingness, diseases spread, and people marry, die, crap, worry, smile, lie, eat, run, chuck, cheat, fuck, crawl, and suffocate. They keep walking, never talking, just going, going, going. I was so close. I promise I'm going to leave, though. That's cool. I have space. Jeff is awake. Jen's left leg is thrown across him, her hair is across his pillow, her breath is lightly brushing against his ear, and he thinks that he could enjoy this, wallow in it, and hold on to it as best he can, because something will go wrong. Something has to go wrong. Something always goes wrong. Jen will decide that he's not a good listener, or that he is emotionally distant, sloppy, or cheap. Maybe she won't like his politics or his taste in music, or maybe he won't say the right things or buy the right things. He will push too much or too little. He will forget an important date or insult her mother. He will get mad because she messed up the laundry or forgot to set the alarm. He'll be a dick, jerk, fuckface, asshole, manipulator, user, control freak that doesn't care about her or anyone else. And Jen will be right.